and is...
Well, hello, everyone. It's 2 o'clock Eastern Time, and time for episode 71 of What Does This Button Do? With Geeks on Tour. It's an educational show about smartphones and tablets. And we are Geeks on Tour.
Teaching old dogs new tricks. We are old dogs learning new tricks.
And we love doing it, too. So, what happened to my intro? I'm Jim.
Well, that's...
And together here with my wife, Chris, we are Geeks on Tour. Do you think your smartphone is smarter than you? And do you have questions about your Android phone or your iPad tablet? And how do you learn about these amazing devices?
Well, we are geeks who teach, and we believe that the best way to learn is in bite-sized pieces on a regular basis. So we learn every week by picking a topic and putting together this show. Today, we are extra excited to have the other people that we learn from on, and you'll meet them later.
Okay. Oh, right. So, who are the Geeks on Tour? That's not a good question.
Well, just in case this is the first time you've ever watched, please visit our website, geeksontour.com, and right on the home page there, if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see our little talking heads. Click there, and there's a video. We have a quick tip for you today.
I think that's a good idea.
The show today is all about Google's announcement that Picasa is going away. So we're going to Google Photos, and one of the things that people say about Google Photos is that it doesn't have enough editing features. So I'm going to show you very quickly a demo of Snapseed and how it works.
Okay.
So first, know that Snapseed is an app. It is a free app for both iOS and for Android. So you can get Snapseed on the Play Store or on the App Store, and then here is what it looks like. I'm first going to go on my Android phone, my Samsung. Come on. All right. And I already have it, so see, I have Snapseed right there. But you don't have to even open Snapseed. So that's the purpose of this demo, is I can just go into my Google Photos. And on this one, I'm going to demonstrate a particular photo that I've put in a group called Geeks on Tour Examples. And because this is just a great example of needing to clean up something. So see this picture, and he's got a scratch on his face. Now this is Google Photos, and all your editing tools are underneath the pencil, but there is no retouch tool in Google Photos like there is in Picasa. But if you have Snapseed installed on your device, you can tap these three dots and edit in and Snapseed. Now, I don't have time to show you Photo Studio this time, but that's cool too. So Snapseed, and now I am in the Snapseed app, but with the same picture. And I tap the pencil to get into editing, and there's this awesome little thing called healing. And first I want to enlarge the picture a little bit, and notice that dash circle? So I can put that right around the scratch. All I do is tap.
Wow.
Right reaction. Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
Nice.
And if I messed up, and you can mess up. I mean, if I tap there, now he has a hair lip. I can tap the X and go back out, or I could have even, if I had paid attention, just deleted that patch. So here I am again, and just tap, and he's all cleaned up. If you like it, then you check, and you done, and this will be saved. It will go to your Google Photos. It will be another copy of this photo. So I will still have the original one with the scratch and this. I'm not going to do that, though. Now I want to show you on the iPad the same thing. Well, but with a different example. So on the iPad, I have Google Photos, which I use all the time, and I do have the Snapseed app installed. I go to Google Photos, and for this one, I want to show you a picture that we took back in August. So I can just pinch the screen to get to see a whole year, and I can drag up until I see August of 2015. And it's a picture right in here near the lighthouse. This one. So I really like that picture with the sun shining across the water, but it's kind of dull. I don't have any sharpen tools, just using Google Photos, but if I tap the three dots, open in Snapseed, then I have a lot more tools. And I press the pencil for edit, and the tool called Details is what will get it sharper. And what you do is you just slide your finger across the screen. So as I slide to the right, do you see how it got a lot sharper?
I can see.
Nice. Very nice.
Or slide back to the left, and it's back being kind of mushy. So I like it all the way over, and I'll say, okay, that's good. I'll check mark that one. Now I also want some more color in here. So I go back into the pencil, and this time I'm going to use the tool called Brush. Now Brush has several things: dodge and burn, exposure, temperature, and saturation. First I'll go with saturation. That just means wherever there is color, give me more color. And now the cool thing is you can apply it to just specific parts of the picture. So if I just want more blue, I just rub where there's blue. Or more gold sunset color, rub where there's gold sunset color. So I'm applying more saturation to a particular part of the picture. But that's even not enough. So I want to go back, and instead of saturation, I'm going to use temperature. So the lower the number of temperature, the more blue. The higher the level of temperature, the more red. So I want some more blue in the sky. So I'm going to decrease to -5. And now I'll rub, and look at that blue come out. And this is just so much fun. It's like finger painting. Now I want more warmth in the sunset. So I increase. I'm going to go all the way to 10. And even a little bit of gold in the water. How about that?
Oh.
It's just so much fun. All right, so then if you like it, you check it, you can save, and you get well, actually on the iOS you get options for saving, difference between save and export, but I'm not going to do it. That is my quick tip, using Snapseed to give yourself more editing features.
Well, thanks, Chris. That's really cool.
All righty.
I like Snapseed myself. It's so much fun. All right. Well, we do invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just go to our website or search for Geeks On Tour on YouTube. Our beginner's lesson: Picasa is retiring. Oh my goodness, and should you switch to Google Photos? Good question.
Yep, and I have just a couple of slides to introduce it, and then we're going to start asking our panel for discussion. So terminology. People say Picasa, they might be meaning either of two things. So I'm going to try to be a bit of a terminology Nazi here today, and if anybody says the word Picasa, I'm going to make you say Picasa 3 for the desktop software, or Picasa web albums for the web interface to your pictures. Then there's Google Photos, that is the new interface to the web photos, and the way you get there is on the web, photos.google.com, instead of picasaweb.google.com. Now, also, what we mean by switching, I mean, the title of this show is Picasa is being retired. Should you switch to Google Photos? Now, you can't switch from Picasa 3 on your computer to Google Photos on your computer. There just is no such thing as Google Photos to work with the pictures on your hard drive of your computer. So what we mean when we say switching is switching from computer-based photo management to web-based photo management. And if you're keeping pictures on your computer, there's no reason why you can't keep using Picasa 3. For the web part, you will no longer be able to use Picasa web albums. You have to go to Google Photos. Okay. Now, I'm going to try to not talk much for the rest of this show because I've already written up everything that I have to say about it on our PicasaGeeks.com website. So I encourage you to go and read through that. But today we have the fun of 5 other people to help us discuss this topic. And these are all people that I have learned a lot from. So I'm going to be listening. First of all, I want to bring up each one of them and ask for a little introduction. So Don Lind, he was very active in the Picasa forum. I learned so much from him, and I'm real happy to have him here. So Don, tell us just a little bit about your photo practices now and whether the Picasa announcement is going to affect you.
Hi, hopefully you're hearing me.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Okay, good. Let's see. What I do with Picasa, for me, Picasa's a photo organizer, and I do it on my PC. I started when Google first released it. That's how I managed my photos. I've got about 65,000 photos out there on my PC. It's my responsibility to back them up, and I do put a fair number of them up on the web for sharing. From day to day, what I do, I'll go out and I'll shoot photos of an event, a birthday, a vacation trip, whatever, and I import them into Picasa. I don't plug the camera in. I use a DSLR, a Canon. I'm a Canon guy. Nothing wrong with Nikons, but I'm a Canon guy. Once they got you with some lenses, you're done. You're not switching. But I always just pop the reader out. I don't plug the camera in. That's a pain in my mind. So I just pop the card in, import. I do the quick edits. Picasa is really good on the simple edits, cropping, contrast, straightening. I still get things not level. Sharpness, color, all that stuff. And then I usually make I call them Blue Book albums. I subset them because I might shoot 500 photos of the Grand Canyon. I just want to find 100 of them, and that'll be what I put up on the web for sharing. And so I do that. I upload them to the web album stuff or Google Photos, whatever it's going to be these days. I don't save my edits at this point. I want my originals, and I don't want to waste the disk space. Picasa is really good when you save, but it takes a copy of the backup. So just to save disk space, I just don't bother saving. I understand exactly what's going on, and it doesn't confuse me at all. Some people it does, and I get that too. My internet's slow, and that's the catch. I live in a beautiful spot, but terrible internet.
Tell them where.
Lake Bay, Washington. It's on the Puget Sound, so I look out and see beautiful islands and trees and junk like that. It's an awesome place, but the DSL here is not pretty. So Google, the cloud stuff, I can get to the web albums, I can see them and stuff like that, but actually using it on a day-to-day basis for the photos, it's not an option yet. It will be in a few years. Okay,
so how does the Picasa retirement affect you?
Yeah, so it won't, I don't think. I'm going to continue to run Picasa and do things the way I've been doing. The program itself, Picasa Desktop, Picasa 3, that's where my photos live. I'm going to keep doing that. As I get internet, yeah, I'll move to the photo stuff, and that's all okay. It's just, it'll be a few years still, I think.
And you do take some pictures with a smartphone, don't you?
I do, yes. The best camera is the one you have with you. And my big lenses and big camera, I take them most places, but sometimes, yeah, I whip out my cell phone and take pictures. And I just import those into Picasa also. And put them with my other photos, and if they make the cut for web albums, they go up.
All right, so you use your smartphone just like a camera in that you move the pictures to the computer and then delete them from the camera.
Yeah, from
the phone.
from the camera, from the phone, yeah. And the phone will hit the gallery, will hit the web album stuff, so I see the online stuff that way.
Okay.
So
well,
I do
thanks
that.
so much for being here. If anybody has ever gone to the Picasa Users Forum, I'm sure you know the name Don Lind. He was the top contributor.
That was fun. It was a good time.
For many years. Good deal. All right. Next, Catherine Tracy, tell us where you are and what your basic photo taking techniques are and how Picasa's retirement will affect you.
Okay, well, I am a retired teacher living in Sun City, Hilton Head. And in my retirement, I've come to combine a love of computers, and I am a solid Mac person, photography and teaching. Personally, for me, picture taking has come to record family, friends, and travels. I have put my SLR to rest. Occasionally, I use a Panasonic Lumix, but mostly my iPhone 6S Plus has become my camera of choice. Now, over Apple, I came to prefer Picasa 3, even though it wasn't Picasa 3 when I started, and Picasa web albums for photo managing. iPhoto was not really all that bad a program, but Apple, in an attempt to make its photo program more the same between the Apple operating system and iOS, even people far geekier than myself are not happy with it. In teaching Picasa, and I'm sure I've read some of your things, I came to know Chris and Jim first for the instructional videos and then for the angst over Google+. I will still say to this day, I won't say hate, but I did not like Google+. However, I love Google Photos. And for the longest time, when Google, well, why am I say longest time? How long has Google Photos been out? Since May?
Since May.
Yeah.
Since the end of last May, not even a year.
Well, it was love at first sight. But, however, you know, the shoe is dropped now with Picasa. If I knew only Google Photos, I would be totally happy with this. However, Picasa, its facial recognition, its face movies, text on pictures have just really been nice features, and I will keep using them. I consider Google Photos to be the greatest boon in the world for people who have the 16-megabyte phone. And I have come to suspect when you deal with Google, things are going to change. Most likely.
No.
No kidding.
Okay, great. And Rick Doyle, I've been following him a lot on Google+. He is also another RVer, and he teaches a lot of people about Picasa and Blogger. So, Rick, tell us where you are and a little bit about your picture-taking habits.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, I live in a place called Cowichan Bay. It's in British Columbia on Vancouver Island. It's 30 miles north of Victoria. That's the best way to describe where I am.
Beautiful.
Just briefly, I retired in 1999, 17 years ago, after a 35-year career in information technology that ranged from a brief tour as a junior data processing operator on unit record equipment, and then on to being a programmer, systems analyst, and then my last 20 years as an IT manager for the city of Victoria. Anyway, as far as picture taking goes, for years and years, my favorite method of taking pictures was using my trusty G-series cameras, the Canon G. I've had a Canon G10 and a Canon G15, and up until about a year ago, I would say this was my camera of choice for 90% of my photos. Today, I have an iPhone 6S, and that has replaced my Canon, and I now use my iPhone for probably more than 90% of my photos. I've used Picasa 3.9 for as long as I can remember. I guess for at least since 2009, when I started my blogging career. And normally I would, I did much like Jim. Jim mentioned, I would, or pardon me, what Don mentioned, I would upload my photos to Picasa 3.9. I would play around with them, and then I would only upload the pictures I liked to Picasa web albums. And the rest of them I would export and store on my external hard drive. Sometime last year, about a year ago, after Google Photos came out, in fact, shortly after, I quit using Picasa web albums, or pardon me, I quit using my external hard drive. I had a storage thing on there. I have a 1 terabyte external hard drive, and it was filled with pictures. So I uploaded all of them to Google Photos, and because they were actually all photos I wanted to keep, so I put them all on Google Photos. I deleted my external hard drive altogether. My picture life is totally in the control of Google now. I figure Google's photos storage is probably safer than my external hard drive or my computer. I don't keep very many photos on my computer hard drive at all. Once I upload them to Google Photos, I get rid of them.
Excellent.
I'm a little different than Don now. What I do is, of course, with my iPhone, all my pictures are uploaded to Google Photos automatically. And when I go into Google Photos today, I'm a little different than what Don does. I go in there, I look at my pictures, I edit them, I keep the ones I want, I delete the rest. I do the same with Picasa 3.9 right now. When I take pictures with my Canon camera, like Don said, I take my SD card out, plug it into my computer, put them on Picasa 3.9. It's a lot easier. I'll do a couple of quick edits. I might do I'm feeling lucky. I might do a color thing, but not too much, not as much as I used to. I used to play around. Pardon me. The one thing I do with every photo, the first thing I do is crop. That's my #1 tool. Crop tool is the best photo tool ever invented, in my opinion. I use it on almost every single picture I display somewhere. But I'll crop it, try I'm feeling lucky, and now I upload to Google Photos. I upload them all, I edit them there, and again, the ones I like, I keep, the ones I don't, I delete. That's it. So I find today I'm using Picasa 3.9 to just basically organize the photos I take from my Canon camera and upload them, but I'm using Google Photos as my main to-go site now for photos.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, that sounds like a lot like me. And Robin, tell us where you are and what your photo taking habits are.
Right now, I am in Orlando, Florida, but I generally live, about 2 miles from Catherine Tracy in Bluffton, South Carolina. I'm not a photographer. I've hung around with some of the photographers at the Sun City Hilton Head Club, hoping some of their skills would rub off on me. Hasn't worked. So I take snapshots. Unlike Catherine, I quite liked Google Photos, Google Plus Photos when it first came out, mostly for the cute little GIFs and little animation kinds of. It was doing snow and ice and things like that back then. It was just kind of fun. Love Google Photos. just as Roger said, excuse me, um, it grabs my photos from my phone, uploads them automatically, and does wonderful things like rediscover the day 8 years ago, or make little movies or stories of where you've been and what you're doing. I mean, it's just so much fun. Lets me get the photos off my phone. Everything is backed up. And most of the editing I do in Google Photos. Chris's tip today on Snapseed is awesome. I will start playing with that because there are some things that Google Photos can't do yet. So that was a great tip. And I think that's about all I have to add.
So Picasa's being retired is not going to affect you?
Not going to affect me at all. Interestingly, though, I substituted taught a Picasa class, Intro to Picasso class last month. And literally half the people in the room, so 6 out of 12, absolutely have no interest in going to anybody's cloud and are going to do it, whatever they're doing, right on their local computer. And that won't change for them. They're missing out on a lot, I think, but they can still, we're teaching a Intro to Picasa class next month on March 16th, which is the day after Google pulls Picasa. So we will have them on thumb drives or store it on our website so that people know where they can grab the file.
Okay, thanks, Robin. And last but not least, Dimfa. I specifically asked her to join us because, unlike most of us, she's started with the way Google wants us to do things, and she is totally cloud-based. Tell us a little bit about that, Dimfa.
I'm a top contributor with Google on the Chromebook forum, so that is a cloud-based device. I use a Nexus 6 on Project Pi, which is cloud-based and backs up all my photos. I have never used Picasa because by the time I started doing anything with photos, it became Google+, then it became Picasa or Google, or, you know, all up in the cloud. So I'm not a photographer either. The best thing that happened to me was a smartphone because I always have it with me and I could finally take pictures with the camera that I always forgot to take with me. I never did anything. I believe my best or biggest contribution I can make is to tell you that the future is in the cloud. Backup in the cloud is important because things can happen to your hard drive, things can happen to your computer, things can happen to your USB recovery stick, anything. They're good with Google. Google is a very open company, and this announcement was part of them trying to let you know that something is going to happen. However, they didn't tell us what. So now we have a lot of questions of what features are going to happen from Picasa are going to transfer to Google Photos, and I bet you most of them will, including some from Snapseed since they just bought it. So I think we're all going to be all right. But
everything will be just fine.
This transition period, yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks. Now we have we're going to go to questions that we have gathered and pick on one of you to answer them. So our first question is regarding installing Picasa 3. I'm wondering if I can download Picasa 3 now onto a thumb drive, save it, not open it, then in the future if I get a new computer, put that download on a new computer. That's how much I love Picasa. Thanks, from Anna Mary Ellerby. How about Don? Would you take that one?
Sure. Yeah, you're going to be. I think there's a website called File Hippo. I think, Chris, you guys even mentioned it. That has old versions of software, and even if it's not from Google, yeah, you can save your own copy. It'll install fine, and it'll probably keep running for years.
Yep, I agree. So you don't have any problem using outdated software?
No. Well, you know, And don't get me wrong on the. I agree completely. We're going to the cloud. It's going to happen. It's just I need an internet connection that can do that. And Google's going to manage your photos better than you are. It's going to be fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, next. My favorite feature of Picasa 3 is the ease of emailing photos. Ugh, back to the old way of attaching and resizing photos? Or how about Dimfa? Would you handle that one?
Sure. The Google way is open your Gmail first, click on the little camera icon. Your photos from Google Photos will be there. You can choose whatever you want to insert as a link, so you're not sending the attachments. It's still the same way.
Oh, I usually still do that from the Google Photos side and share and grab a link, but I haven't tried it straight from the Gmail side.
Most things Google go the other way around.
Okay. So next, will there still be access to Picasa web albums? I can survive without it on my phone, but computer, well, that's a different story, from a friend of ours, Greg Gundy. Rick, you want to take that one?
Sure, I'll try. As I understand it, sometime after May 1st, Picasa web albums will disappear completely. So the answer to that is no. You won't be able to do that from Picasa web albums, but Google is going to put in its place a new site that will store your existing Picasa web albums photos. You'll be able to access them there, although as I understand it, you won't be able to create new albums, add to them, or do much else, but they'll still be there. But Picasa web albums itself is going to disappear after May 1st.
So what do?
You go to Google Photos.
Right. All the photos are still there. You don't have to do anything, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Whatever is in after May 1st, and as of right now, whatever is stored in Picasa web albums is visible in Google Photos today. So I guess maybe I might have been confusing there. There's no reason to worry about the fact that you're going to lose your photos. Everything in Picasa web albums will be visible in Google Photos as it is now. But following May 1st, the actual website Picasa web albums is going to disappear.
Okay.
What will be there, basically, I guess, will best be described as an archive of Picasa web albums of your photos. That's about it. They're there for you to look at.
Cool.
Okay. Next, I think this one is probably for Catherine. I've taught Picasa 3 at a senior school for several years. Everyone loves the program and the ability to manage their photos so easily. It's so easy to make different collages. Classes start again soon. Is it even worth taking in more beginners now? Margaret Carrington. What do you think, Catherine?
Well, the fact that we still will have access to Picasa, even though it's not supported, I think, Jim, didn't you have something about a program that was like 5 operating systems ago that you still use? I mean,
there are a couple of programs that I've been using over the years that have been discontinued back in the XP days. Photo Story 3 is one of them, and Photo Draw, which was part of Office at Windows 2000, or Office 2000, I mean. Yeah.
I think the responsible thing is to try to teach them both, which I think we'll probably be going to in our education program.
Yeah, very good. So if they still want photos on their computer's hard drive, they can use Picasa, but they should get used to the idea of cloud with Google Photos.
The thing is that so many people don't have the idea of how to crop or how to straighten, how to remove red eye, which are such basic things, but in Picasa, they can at least learn the concept there. I'm sure there's got to be other programs.
Okay. Now this next question is kind of similar, but with a little bit of difference. If you haven't used Picasa 3, is it worth it to try and figure it out to start, or should she start with a better program? Robin, you want to take that one?
Oh boy.
Catherine knows me well. To teach basic concepts, I agree with Catherine entirely that Picasa is wonderful for those kinds of tools. The other thing that we teach is Photoshop Elements, but that's like going from elementary school to college. Not that it's, if you're motivated, not that it's that hard to learn, but for basic concepts, it's way more than most people need. And I think Google Photos is starting to, with some of its edits, and now you add in Snapseed, is starting to do enough to get people started. As Catherine said, we'll do a combo of Picasa and Google Photos for a while. In part, with our population, still getting their head around the cloud is a tough one. And actually, I think this is going to be a very good tool for exactly that.
Yeah, but that is the issue. You cannot use Google Photos to work with the pictures on your hard drive.
Correct. But there's nothing that says I can't use Picasa Desktop on my hard drive and also upload those afterwards to Google Photos.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Agreed. Okay, but now somebody else asked about Faststone. Does anybody know about Faststone? It's a free desktop photo manager, but I feel the same way. If you're going to use something else, you may as well use the best thing, which is the Photoshop Elements.
For most people, I think.
Yeah. On that question, I think the general question was, would you advise someone who hasn't used Google Photos Picasa 3 to teach them, to begin to teach them to learn to use it, now that it's been basically discontinued? I would say no. If I had someone coming to me that wanted to learn a new photo editor, I would not recommend, as much as I love Picasa 3 and I've used it for years, I would not recommend it because I think basically it's dead. It hasn't been updated for years. It won't be. You're just kicking the can down the road. I would strongly recommend a new user learn something that's new, that's going to be advanced and improved. I don't believe in. With Picasa 3 right now, if you start with that and teach somebody that, you're basically looking backwards. And I think we should encourage people to look forwards where the action is going to be. And that's Google Photos or Apple or Microsoft or Facebook or whoever. Thanks.
Okay, that we have one question on just some specific features of Google Photos. Dimtha, you want to take this one? Using Google Photos, how do I sort on name or title? And using Google Photos, how do I add a caption?
Difficult right now.
Sorry.
You got me on that one. This is part of Google getting ahead of itself. Right now, you still should use Picasa for that because the features aren't there in Google Plus and Google Photos yet. I do believe they will get there. They will transfer that feature from Picasa to Google Photos and make Google Photos a all-around product for everybody to use.
Okay, what about using the description instead of a caption?
There are certain search parameters that you can use. If you use hashtag Christmas or hashtag by photo size or hashtag by JPEG or .ping
Okay.
you can find them with the search in the search box. Yeah.
Of course, you can describe in the picture. Yeah, I mean, like the ocean or the sunset or Grand Canyon.
Yeah, it does. It can figure those out automatically. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I mean in terms of the search.
Yeah.
Well, in search, you can pretty much put anything in there that you would like. and it will come up with something. There are certain things, though, where the hashtag works to make it a more specific search. If you put in beach, it will pull up your beach photos if it has identified them. But if you want beach for a certain date, you do hashtag beach January 6th, 2015, and it should come up with that.
Okay, we have some questions that people have been posting while we've been talking here. Let's see. Let's do that one. So Paul Goldberg says, I am still a belt and suspenders. I want to maintain my own hard drive backup as well as Google+. Now, Dimfa, I know you have a thought on that. So Dimfa is using its photos strictly in the cloud, but you have a hard drive, right?
Well, a very small one on my Chromebook. It's only 8 gigabits for use. I have a USB stick that I put in, flash drive, whatever you want to call it, or an SD card that I keep in my Chromebook. I back up the important ones. I back up everything to Google Photos, and then I will periodically go in and take out the ones that I've edited that I would like to keep forever in a separate place as my second backup, because I don't quite trust the online yet, and I put them on a USB or an external drive of your choice. And it's as easy as selecting them, click download, put it directly into your hard drive.
And I have also used the Google Takeout services.
Yes.
So I said, hey, Google, just in case you mess up my account someday, I want everything on an external hard drive. I have 78 gigabytes that I downloaded that Google says, here's all the stuff that we have of yours, here you go. So, and I highly recommend anybody to do that. Okay, you see another one? How about having put all of them? Yeah, back up here, the web albums ones.
Right here.
Okay. Oh, I know one other one. I have Picasa web albums feeding to some website I own, displaying photo slideshows. Will the embedded links to these albums still function, or will I need to load all new links to my websites using Google Photos? Now, I think we've discussed that a little bit. Rick, do you want to take that one?
I am led to believe that they will still work. I know in the blogger area, Google has said that the links will continue to work from Picasa web albums, so I have no reason to believe that they won't work in other web sites as well. How that's going to work, I believe that's the reason that they're going to be maintaining this archived site of Picasa, so people go in there. Like, let's remember, whether pictures are stored in Picasa web albums or Google Drive or Google Photos, they are just viewers for the main Google server. All your photos are stored in one Google server in the cloud somewhere, and web albums, the new site they're going to create, Google Photos, Google Drive, all access that one site. And that's where the links are. So I have no reason to believe that Google isn't correct in saying the links will work.
And I know you've done a lot of research specifically on that with Blogger.
Yeah. One thing that's interesting I found in doing this over the last few days is I went into Google Photos, and I could see there that none of the pictures that I posted, I did a couple of test blogs, none of the pictures, when I post them using Blogger, when I went to Picasa web albums, I could see my blog photos. There were duplicates, a thumbnail and an original. And there was also an album called Blogger with a little orange identifier where all my blog photos were stored. Google Photos has changed that. When you use the Blogger editor to publish a blog, the photos still go to Google Photos, but they're invisible. They've taken out, they have made those photos invisible. There's no Blogger web album anymore, and there are no photos from Blogger. They're still there.
It's a good thing, so that people don't accidentally delete them.
if you deleted one of those photos, they would be removed from your blog. Now, if you happen to use Open Live Writer, it'll work the same as with Picasa web albums. If you use Open Live Writer, your pictures will go to Google Photos.
Yeah, let's not go there. That's a whole blogger thing. That's a whole blogger thing. So, but the bottom line, if you have pictures in Blogger now, they will still be in Blogger after the retirement.
They'll be there, but you won't see them in Google Photos.
Okay. Do we have any other one? What about Blogger and Picasa? Well, so many people want to do that one. That's going to be. Is there any more? So this is just a very, very typical question. And actually, Don, since you handled this over and over and over in the Picasa user forum, do you wanna try this? Explaining how pictures do not live in Picasa?
Yeah,
Picasa
that was
3 on your computer.
That was the most heartbreaking thing in the forum, where someone would install Picasa, think that Picasa had the photos, and then to save disk, delete them. And that's, of course, a really bad thing. And it just happened all the time. People just didn't understand that. And that's really what she's saying is, well, given that Picasa's retiring, it's going to be sort of a thing of the past anyway, I think, as time goes on. But yeah, Picasa is just what you said. It's a viewer. It's a way to look at your photos. I sort of explained it as it was like Windows Explorer on steroids. You drill into your photos and you see all this information. You could organize them really neat with the tags and the Blue Book albums and all that. It's just a viewer. Yeah, don't delete them.
Yeah, and if you remove Picasa 3 from your computer, your photos are still there. So there is absolutely nothing you need to do to secure your pictures if you don't use Picasa 3 anymore.
And when they announced it.
Except for edits.
Yes. But when they announced that it was going away, people were like, "Oh my gosh, my photos are going to be gone." It's like, "Oh man, no," you know.
Right.
Wow, you know, people don't understand that.
Yeah. So bottom line, what I hope people are hearing from us is, it's all right.
Yeah.
Nothing is going to take your pictures away either from your computer or from your Google account online in the cloud.
And it is time to move to the cloud. That's going to happen. Yeah.
But you don't have to. You can wait. Yeah. But you should stick your toe in at the very least. Okay, let's we're going longer than normal, but I expected that today. I would like, does anybody, let me call on each of you if you have a final thought. And how about Catherine?
My final thought is that there will be people, for one reason or another, who don't embrace the cloud. They don't like the concept, they don't trust it, they don't have the internet connection. That piece of the market, I'm sure, is going to remain. And it seems to me that somebody will step in if indeed Picasa becomes unusable. Somebody will step in with a program that would fit that need. That's my thought.
That's good.
But I'll use Picasa while I can.
All right. How about Robin?
Actually, I agree with Catherine. I'm somebody who still has Photo Story 3 around too, because it does some kind of fun and unique things. I think the editing tools, though, for Google Photos it already has improved substantially. I think the sorting and such, the search is phenomenal. Actually being able to tag and sort things will get better over time just because there's a huge demand for it. And I think I have to rethink, based on Rick's comments, I think Catherine and I may need to get our heads together and rethink a little more about how we're going to do our training. Maybe more emphasis on Google Photos with Picasa as a very small sidelight for those who need to stay with it.
Okay, how about Don?
unmute. Yeah, gosh. So I guess my only concern is, and I'll get over it. It'll be okay. The edits. It would be neat if there was a way, because Picasa stores the edits in the little ini files in its database. If I could move those up to Google Plus, the Google Photos, sorry, it would be neat if it could move the edits also. Life will go on if they can't, or they decide not to. But the alternative is just going to be I'm going to have to save all the edits and upload the edited photos, which, you know, I'd rather I could save my edits that way. But that's a minor thing.
But if you upload, using Picasa 3 on your computer, what you've uploaded has all the edits.
Right.
Oh, but you mean you want them separate? You want the original?
Well, I'd like to be able to undo them. Like we were talking the other day, and you said that, like Picasa, you can edit and crop and then up in the web on the cloud, and you can still undo it and get back to your original. Maybe I cropped it one day, and now I've decided, oh, I want an 8x10, and I've got to recrop and get back to that original one. I could always do that in Picasa.
Yeah.
Or you can buy a Mac and use Apple Photos, and it'll do that for you.
From the frying pan into the fire.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you know, if I'm going to redo my edits again, Google Photos will do that too. It's just, I've already done that once, and it would be nice if I could not have to do it again. That's all. I don't expect them to do that, but.
Okay, Rick, final thoughts?
Okay, my final thought is that when people ask me what should they do because Picasa 3.9 is being discontinued and web albums are disappearing, my advice is pretty simple. If you're asking me, then you obviously haven't done you're confused or you don't know what's going on. Keep using Picasa 3 Desktop. It's good. It's efficient. People are still using Office 2000 and Office 2002, and God knows there's millions using Windows XP. So Picasa 3 is going to work for a long, long time. Keep using it. At the same token, forget about Picasa web albums. It's toast. It's gone. Forget about it. It was confusing anyway with the same name as Picasa. So that's my advice. Keep using Picasa 3.9. If you want to learn Google Photos, go for it. If you don't need it. You don't need to learn about it if you don't want to go on.
Okay. Thanks. Then I saved you for last because you're representing where we will probably all be sometime soon. What's your final thoughts?
My final thought is you can use whatever you would like. Whether it's a desktop application, whether it's Picasa or something else, that's great. You can use whatever you would like online in the cloud. Google makes it very easy to get your photos up there. They're safe. No matter what you do with your photos in any other spot, you will always have that backup up in the cloud that you can download again, that you can edit again, that you can do whatever with. You won't lose it. That's
all right. All right, thanks. And the Chromebook is something that you should check out if you agree with that statement. Well, that
was great.
That was fun.
Thank you
so much, guys, for joining us.
And it was,
thank you.
Maybe we'll have to check in again, like in a year or something, have the same group together.
That was fun.
Okay.
Was fun.
So
Thank you.
We always end with review questions to try to sum it all up and bring it around. So.
All right. Did you learn something? Well, we have some review questions here. True or false? If you have Picasa 3 software on your computer, nothing will change after March 15th retirement date. It'll still work the same.
True.
If you get a new computer, you can install Picasa 3 if you have what?
The Picasa setup file, which you can get right now from picasa.google.com, and after it's retired, you'll be able to get it from us or from File Hippo or any number of places.
There will be places where it's available, and it's up to you whether you want to go with that. Okay, if you have been using Picasa web albums, you should start getting used to Google Photos now. What web address do you go to?
Photos.google.com. And everything that all the pictures that you saw by going to picasaweb.google.com, you will now see at photos.google.com.
Okay. If true or false, you need to transfer your Picasa web albums to Google Photos.
False.
Don't need to do that. Okay.
They're already there.
They're there. They never left. They've always been there. If Google Photos is missing a feature that is important to you, you can send feedback to Google. How?
Well, and that I didn't cover. Let me see if I can do it very, very quickly. If you just go to photos.google.com, this is Google Photos, the web interface on a computer. You click the three-line menu, and there is Send Feedback. So if there's something you want Google to know, a feature that you have to have, that's where you tell them. And enough voices sometimes do make a difference.
That's nice when that happens. Okay. One more. True or false, any uploaded photos that you have used in your blog will still be there even after May 1st.
True.
That's nice to know. That's
Okay.
scared a lot of people.
So, I think that's it, unless somebody thought of something else they have to say.
Okay.
Alrighty.
We got a couple of more things. So, Chris, what is the web page that lists all of our weekly shows?
GeeksOnTour.com, and the menu item is Weekly Show.
And what's the web page that lists all of our recent newsletters?
GeeksOnTour.com, and the menu is Blogs and Articles. Newsletters is under there.
Okay, and the benefits you get by joining Geeks on Tour
is access to all of our tutorial videos, including nearly 20 relatively new ones on Google Photos, and asking questions on our member Q&A forum. So if people didn't get their question answered today, I want to tell you how you can get more. We try to respond to all the comments left on this show, any comments left on the articles, but we promise to respond if you are a member and you leave your question on our Q&A forum at Geeks on Tour. And make sure to read that article on the PicasaGeeks.com about this, and I will put links there to Rick's blog and any other pieces that we think are useful. All right, and then you also get show notes. If you're a Geeks on Tour member, we write up written notes with links to all these shows.
And we do invite you to become a member. Just go to geeksontour.com and click on Become a Member.
It's just $68 for 1 year.
So next time, next Sunday, February 28th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, we will have episode number 72. RV Mobile Internet with Chris and Cherie, the Tech Nomads. Maddie is going to be here with us. They're just finishing up on a new book or a revised edition of their mobile internet book. So click to make sure that we know that you're coming, and leave any questions there in the comments. All right?
Okay.
So we are Geeks on Tour, and thank you again, our panel of experts.
And you can hang out and say goodbye, but we will be signing off here.
Okay.
On What Does This Button Do?
Don't touch that button. Thanks, everyone.